what's up? Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good?
Let's talk about a few ETFs if we can. I want to talk about the spider sector ETFs. XLF. So XLF is the financial sector for the S&P 500. And for anybody, all right, so let's just talk about what these X's mean. So XLK, XLY, XLF. XLY is the consumer discretionary sector. XLF is the financial sector. XLK is the technology sector. There's XLE, is it?
Yep, for energy.
That's the energy sector. So these are
XLI industrials.
These are different ETFs from the S&P 500. The ETF is more of a select demographic that is specific to one area, where the S&P 500 is 500 companies that make up, a microcosm of the whole entire stock market, where XLK might be 20 companies that are just specific to technology. So like Apple, Amazon, Google, different things of that nature. So the financial sector, you have the financial companies, consumer discretionary sector, you have the consumer discretionary energy. So the ETFs are usually a safer play than investing in one individual stock, because if you're invested in just one stock, anything can happen. If that stock goes down, then, everything is riding with it. Whereas if it's an ETF and you have 20 different stocks, even if one stock goes down, it's probably only 3% or 4% of the actual portfolio. So, you still have 19 other stocks to kind of balance it out. So that's an easier way to go about it. And it's more tailor-made as opposed to the index, which is a wide variety. So if we could talk about a few before we end this, the financial sector is something that's interesting. And if you look at the charts, it's been up for the last 10 years. It kind of has dips every few years. But financial companies, I feel like it's a crossroad, because a lot of times people talk about fintech, but the financial sector is still run by like the JP Morgans of the world.
Berkshire number one.
Yeah, Berkshire killing.
Goldman Sachs, different things of that nature. So what's your thoughts on XLF, the financial sector ETFs?
XLF, I like. If this is the low to boat price, you guys can get it at $27.35. I always want you guys to buy the best prices. So $27.35. Historically, I like Vanguard products a lot more, but like you said, with ETFs, it's a lot safer, a lot less of a drop, a lot less of a drawdown. Like, no one's ever called in like, oh my God, I lost everything on VOO or XLF or. So I want you to wait for the best prices. If you're looking at JP Morgan, $91.16. And for those of you that are believers in crypto. So I got a little hybrid strategy I've been talking to some friends about. Like, if you buy the top two in crypto and a dark horse and put the top two banks in there, if we hit depression levels or we stay flat for a 5 or 6 year period, that will be like a modified version of 2 Tech 2 Index, because JP Morgan and Bank of America are all going to be, and BlackRock are all going to benefit from the crypto boom.
Say that again.
So if we stay flat for a 5 year period and the economy is tough, if you have the top two banks plus the top two crypto and one dark horse in crypto, that is like a new version of 2 Tech 2 Index. I've been telling you guys for years that all the banks are going to get involved with crypto. They're going to take over, acquire. Everyone said, no, it's not true. And here we are now. JP Morgan acting like Suge Knight and getting all their percentage points they can off Ethereum, right? So when you study business, and one book, the Ted Turner autobiography, that's one like Chad loves. When you brought up Ted Turner, I thought of that. If you study business historically, the same thing happens over and over again. Something new will get hot. An artist, product, brand, service, the big company that runs that space will acquire it, partner with it, or sign it and profit from it. And eventually it's going to come out. The hot thing that signed is going to get a lower percentage than the person who signed them or initiated the deal. This has happened for hundreds and hundreds of years. So when Kanye is like, put my clothes in trash bags so you can see the value that I'm actually bringing, and everybody is digging in the trash bags and not on the Gap rack, that's to show what my impact is. And let's not be surprised in 2 years when he has issues with Gap. The same thing. That's why when we reference hip hop and sports, if you look at the music business and sports, especially in basketball, you will see a business life cycle in 1 year in basketball represent 10 in a normal business. So I know Patrick Beverly said, oh, KD messing up the value of the market by not signing with a team. Bev, I love you. I know you from Chicago. Kev earned that right. When you're an A player, there are certain things you can do that a C player or D player can't do.
You sway the market.
You are a market maker.
Yeah.
So that would be Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and then a Solana, something like that.
Or Algorand or Ripple. Yes. Shout out to Crypto 901. I know you can be like, you and say Ripple. I said Ripple. I love you. Right. So pick a dark horse and then you're good. You don't need a bunch of companies. If you listen to the show, you should be profitable even through the slide. Be a Bank of America, JP Morgan, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Pick a dark horse and we'll be good. So that's like my crypto takeover portfolio model. I made that. Don't y'all start copying and doing courses on it. I've been paying my lawyer. He ain't took nobody to trial or nothing yet. Please.
Well,
like XLF is, the history of it, 15 years ago was at $30.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's trading a little over 33. And so I can understand why people don't use it as an ETF, just because of
the entire banking sector was down though. I mean, when you have when interest
that's
rates
what I was just going to go there. The time banking sector is down. It ran up to 33, obviously, in climates of high interest.
But that's not really a fair comparison.
I'm going somewhere. Yeah. In climates of high interest, the banks are going to make a lot of money. But if somebody's looking for growth, right, an ETF that has growth, I don't know if that's the one that's going to have the maximum amount of growth over a long period of time. Is it?
Everybody want to growth with Kathy, and then they growing.
So that's the other part of it, right?
Grass in their body in the grave.
You've got to choose what you want. Right. So if you want to have something that consistently, obviously banks aren't going anywhere, but they do have, we've seen banking, the banks collapse recently in history. But if you want something that's consistent and you know it's going to be there, obviously interest rates are going to be here forever because that's how they make their money. Mm-hmm. Then this make sense for you, right? This might be one of those ETFs where it's like, you know what, I'm going to leave the money in here and I'm going to have it as a long-term investment and just keep it there. If it's something that I'm looking like, I want maximum growth over the next 5 years, I don't know if that's the place for you, but you got to figure out what type of investor you're going to be. So that's what the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, and if you look at Vanguard VUG, that's that growth ETF. You can get that at like $199.96, $190.96. Must be a 5-year hold. This is not for options, not for a swing trade, right? So when I give you guys advice, use it how I tell you, and don't like try and remix my grandmama's macaroni and cheese.
Please don't
hold for 5 years, right? Because that's when the trouble begins to pile up. But I mean, investing is, please put it in chat. Investing is simple. Invest in 4. Even in real estate, there are 4 markets that you wish you can be in. If not, you're not in those. Go to the 4 that are now presenting the greatest growth. Mm-hmm. Media, there's 4 spaces that are growing really fast. Great. Tech stocks, there's only 4. For those of you that are non-monogamous, normally life is pretty good when you have 4 women. I used to live that life. Is too stressful.
Normally. Under normal conditions.
Not I anymore. You know what I'm saying?
This that Red Panda Anthem. Ian, what's up? This that Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good? Red Panda Anthem. Your boy going up. I know they can't stand it.